Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
A very happy Friday to you, or Saturday, depending on where you are in the world. This is USA Global TV and Radio. A big shout out to all of our new followers on Roku worldwide, as well as Amazon Fire, and also on Instagram. And thank you to our loyal viewers on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We really do appreciate you. Our show today is coexistence and sustainability, two very important topics regardless of where you are in the world. I am thrilled to be able to bring my guest, who is the star of our show, and she is a dear friend. Her name is AMINAH, and she's known as the Pet Psychic, and she is really passionate about coexistence and sustainability. I've learned so much from her, and this is our 162nd episode. Welcome to the show. Hello.
Yay for us. And it's so fabulous, you know, to be with somebody like yourself from the ground up. And I feel so honored. And you've cured me of any desire to have my own show. The work you put in is just Herculean sometimes. You know, you and I both know everything from wardrobe malfunction to the camera malfunction to the background of what?
It's a lot.
And yet we pursue. So I encourage everybody, if you really, you know, want to put your own show together, watch our first 10. It was fun. And we learned, you know what I learned? I think you would agree with yourself, but I'm not going to speak for you. I learned that I could depend on you. I learned that we were going to get through this together. There were no hair pulling moments. Maybe we did it after the camera was off.
That's why my hair's back like this now.
Yeah, we did have hair issues, and I've had hair issues, and you're just like, what am I wearing? So everybody hang in there, do what you can, share what you can. And that's what Dr. Jacalyn and I are doing, is sharing a lot of really free in ways to get through life in a better way. And of course she picks a bug I'm very familiar with, but it's not in California. So I had to do a little bit of research, and we're going to walk you through these wonderful, wonderful bugs.
Yeah, so today's topic is centipede conservation. What should we know? And this came to light, as I mentioned to you backstage, because I thought there was a centipede in the house. And I actually studied the thing. I decided just to watch its movements.
Right.
By the way, I've now determined it is not a centipede, it is some type of worm. But it's so interesting because from where it got into the house to where it is a long distance. And just watching it raise its head and look around, and it's in the process of dying right now. But I thought to myself, what it went through to get into the house and to watch how it moves around, it's really quite fascinating. So I did some research, and I found out that centipedes are actually being used, I guess, as inspiration for fashion.
I don't see the fashion. I'm waiting here going, there's no buttons, there's no zippers, there's a lot of legs.
A lot of legs.
I'm thinking, how many legs are we supposed to have in this next apocalypse?
Well, I'm going to show some information about centipedes and fashion, but just what I read briefly is that centipedes have 100 legs and they're in pairs, but the back section, I guess its body is in segments, and the last segment doesn't have any legs. And the first segment has 2 legs that are some kind of pinchers that are used to, I guess, collect food and also to paralyze the prey.
Right. They're in the, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I just took a crash course on this and didn't take any testing, is they have, when they bite, they create paralysis.
Yes.
Okay. So
exactly. And they can
that's
actually,
their real trick. That's a real trick. They want fresh food. We want fresh food. This is literally more fresh than maybe most people eat.
Exactly. And the other thing that I thought was of interest is they can actually go after a snake, and by wrapping their body around the snake and then sticking their pinchers into them, they can paralyze the snake. So I thought it was interesting to talk about centipedes because there's also some pros about keeping them alive. So before we get into the centipedes specifically, I know that you have a really good understanding of how the whole ecosystem works. Where do worms and bugs play a role when it comes to what we see, vegetation, plants, etc.? They're all tied together. Tell us more.
They literally are all tied together. And I want to stress with people is, except for maybe the mosquito, I have a little chip on my shoulder about the mosquito, and I live in California, so you'd think, why? Well, I've traveled extensively. My dad specifically was a teacher, and I've seen the United States in its entirety. It got Hawaii in about 10 years ago, and all of the states have totally different topographies and totally different bugs. And so I think I've been pretty much bitten by everybody. What you come out with is coexistence. What we're talking about is you might not see the benefits of a mosquito. I really struggle with that one, or this bug today, or a spider tomorrow, but somebody counts on it in the food chain. Remember, we're probably at the top, and we create tons of overuse in buying or creating food that we never eat, and it gets thrown away. Insects don't do that. They live in the moment. They grow their food or trim it down or have young or whatever, and they live in the moment. Everybody in nature truly practices, not that they went out and made a plan, and the cognitive education is different, but all of those need somebody that eats them and manages it. So this centipede, actually great for birds, great for other animals. You get lizards all over the place that eat these types of animals, but they don't eat them, and they don't decimate all of their living quarters like humans do, because they know they are built to go with, no, I have this gift and I have that gift. It's really amazing, Dr. Jacalyn, to see how important. So many people think, oh, it's an earthworm, big deal, I'll throw it away. Do you know how many birds will survive that day, much less that year? And they're young when they're hatching and they need to eat. Those worms are vital besides what they are contributing to the soil and the plants. So I really want everybody to open their mind. It's a gooey, icky bug. Yep, gooey, icky bug. Walk on by. If you don't understand why they exist, like what about a black widow? Terrifying, absolutely terrifying for so many people. It's probably the only bug I haven't been bitten by. I've been bitten by a lot of things, but it has a reason. If you want to know what, guess what? We have this amazing thing called the internet, and you can literally research a million people's idea, science, and ooh, yucky, I don't like that. That's great. Just walk around. As Dr. JACALYN and I have talked about many times, we both go, excuse me, I'm going to go this way. Now, because you got, I don't think you have capybaras, but you have something running around in your state that tends to like to make sure you stay in the house, right?
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of wildlife, so to speak, down here in Florida because of the weather.
Right.
And what the other thing I thought was interesting about the centipede is it's almost like a conveyor belt. If you think about how a conveyor belt moves or an escalator, and you have all
Escalator,
these legs moving at the same time. It's
like it, and if you get a chance to actually watch it in slow, and guess what? This thing's called the internet, and you can pull these things up. People have filmed almost every animal they can get their hand on, because how are we going to know them better or understand the coexistence part of what we can and cannot do, and don't spread, put the poison down so you kill them all, and they're like, oh, but they're eating my plants. Well, we got to come up with something better. Olive oil works for some bugs. This works for other bugs. Skin So Soft from Avon. I must have talked about this a million times, but not in the last 6 months on our show. But if you hate mosquitoes, that stuff could work great, because for some reason they don't like it. So you find what works. But what I encourage you more than anything is get the education. How much fun is it to figure out, or maybe you like gross things. I don't really, and you looked up mosquitoes and how they suck our blood and that type of stuff. You can have a lot of fun with it. And more importantly, you can have a lot of fun with your kids. You can have a lot of fun with your crazy Aunt Bessie. You can have a lot of fun with your you go like Dr. JACALYN and I have both experienced family members that have passed in our lives. And before that, we spent a lot of time with them, but they weren't able to do a lot. So I remember my grandfather, I got a perm. I was about 11. It was a bad idea.
I did that too.
Bad idea. And he watches me come in because, in the first, it's very curly and I don't have a lot of hair anyway. And it's, but I figured, oh, no, look, I got curl. Yeah, it's a bad look. And my grandfather looked at me and turned around, and he never chuckled or laughed or anything. But I could see him going, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing.
You don't have anything nice to say. Don't say anything at all.
Exactly. But the bugs, they will let us watch them for hours and hours and hours. And there's simple ways to say, dude, time's up. Out you go.
Yeah.
And
you can
find
just take
out if
them
maybe they're
outside.
helping your household.
Exactly. The one thing I thought was interesting about centipedes is that they're on every continent except Antarctica. And there's over 8,000 different types of centipedes.
Ooh, I didn't get that number. Wow, that's amazing. 8,000?
8,000.
That's a lot.
So it's hard to identify. That's why when I saw one in the house, I thought it was a centipede. But then when I really got close to it, and it's still alive, it's going through a very long death process. Oh. But I've realized it didn't have all of those legs. And centipedes are known because their bodies are segmented. So it doesn't have segments. So the other thing I thought was interesting is if you have centipedes in your house, now not a ton of them, but if you have one here or there, that they are actually really good at getting rid of other types of bugs. But if you have a lot of centipedes, it could mean you have an infestation, and that's a whole other story.
Right. Now, remember, everything in appropriate size.
Yes.
And we've seen people make teeny little cows, and I'm thinking, why? and or big giant this or small that. No, let's go with what nature gave us. And my encouragement, I know a lot of people, a lot of people are afraid of spiders, and black widows specifically. Their bite's going to be a hospital vacation. But I encourage you to watch them, find out what they're doing, especially things like spiders and slow little bugs. They're not out there to get in your bed or to disrupt your home, but they sure will eat a mosquito or two, some of them, and take out others that you don't need. And their lifespans are so short. You're literally counting the days before they've moved out or somebody else has moved in. There are plenty of natural ways. I've mentioned Skin So Soft from Avon as a baby oil millions of times, and it really works great with mosquitoes, and I'm sure other things. And you're like, so you put it all over yourself? No, put it on a little cotton ball, put it on the window or the door sides where the animals come in, and it seems to offend quite a few of them.
That is so interesting. Sorry, I was looking for a picture of centipede that I could pull up, and I found one.
Great.
Yeah, so let's take a look over here. In case you're watching, you think I don't even know what a centipede is.
Exactly.
Your little show and tell over here. Okay. And this website is activewild.com. And here's a centipede
That's so
segments there. And then you can see these two things that I mentioned as pinchers.
cool.
And then back here, it said it didn't have legs in the back, but they sure look like legs to me. What do you think?
It does. And the one I know I pulled up also kind of looks like it's got one going outward from the back, and the back legs actually look taller from the front. So it's like, okay, is this based on our personal ideas of what a big or small one is? So
and I wonder where the eyes are, because we can't really see their eyes.
No, and they could be like a lot of insects. They could be either clear, and this one has that yellowish kind of look to all their legs and parts. Could be a camouflage issue where you don't want to be seen. So it would defeat the purpose if your eyes were like jet black and you have this golden body. They're like, okay, so eyes are moving, but so animals are pretty smart. That's how come they survive, is because they're very smart. So don't underestimate them. But what I'd also recommend is don't kill what you don't have to. If this bug is going to eat the mosquitoes, like in Florida, we want them to eat those mosquitoes, then just escort it out. And I mean something just so simple as, I'm going to pull up a little piece of paper.
You can just take a dustpan even.
Yeah, exactly. And scoop it in. And look, I have this little piece of paper that was just sitting next to me, and it is all I need. It's got a little fold, and I'd say, come here, scoop, 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 and off it goes. They don't have teeth. They're not going to bite you. You are not in the food chain. They don't want anything to do with you. And I think people don't really understand, and I mean human people don't really understand that most animals won't want anything to do with you. Now, the cute fluffy puppy wants to be pet to death, maybe, and the cat that follows you all over the neighborhood, maybe his mate said, hey, dude, come on, pet me, then leave. So watch, listen. That's what I do a lot with the clients I work with, because of course I have private clients. I spend 99% of my time teaching body language, not theirs. Because so many times you miss it.
Right.
You miss it. And Absolutely. It could be a blink of the eye. It could be a touch of the ear. What I always told everybody when I had my horse and my shepherd was about the same time. And you know how the animals can tip their ears because they're listening to something?
Yes.
They do one. I said, pay attention. They're trying to figure out, what does the sound do? Should I be concerned? Do I have to bite anybody, protect anybody? And you'll get a volume of information if you just take a deep breath, literally or figuratively, and watch what nature's doing.
Yeah, I'm going to share something for us to watch too, because I'm really freaked
Cool.
out about this. How many eyes do centipedes have? Now I'm trying to see what is that thing? The big
They have like a little antenna, you know, like what's Star Wars little robot thing.
what's this though? See this here? What is this?
This is a centipede, but it's on top of something.
Ah, it's on top of that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's
So
attacking its prey.
when it comes to
Ah,
eye design, centipedes live, right? Are I can't see that giant word. There we go. Centipedes have no straightforward answer.
right.
So their eyes are very multiple use. So look at all the differences in number
Look
of
at that.
eyes. And
15 pairs of eyes, 20 pairs of eyes. I remember
yep.
that saying that somebody would say, she must have eyes in the back of her head. Well, look at these
Exactly.
centipedes.
Yep. Yep. Because if you're that little bitty insect, you know there's a lot of birds out there who would love to just have you for dinner and share them with their babies. So they've got to keep those parts, eyes, ears, nose, everything really at top notch. Why? It's survival of the fittest in the wild. Because they don't, first, it's about procreation. You don't want an animal that's three-legged and supposed to be four-legged having more animals and more animals and more animals. So this one, what was really neat is they could lose one or two of those legs and still thrive. I don't mean just survive. They could thrive. Some bugs and some other things actually grow them back. Now that's not true for everybody.
Yes.
So it's just what you get. And honestly, you look at it and he's like, oh, he looks fine, but he's running around your house. It's just creepy. So
I think it's because of that escalator kind of movement. It is kind of freaky. I don't know. I don't like it, but
just remember, no teeth. They're not, you know, if they're going to bite you, that's going to be a really letdown on the experience of getting bitten. You might go, did they bite me? I'm not sure. But I think most people, and Dr. Jacalyn, let me know if this resonates, because I would not want them in my bedroom. I don't mind them running around the kitchen because I'm just going to kick you out and I'm probably dressed and no, we don't wear shoes in the house. We have house shoes, but we don't wear shoes in the house just for cleanliness reasons and a little bit of religion. But these little guys, they don't want anything to do with be under your foot.
No. I don't wear shoes in the house either. I wear house slippers, but I'm never walking around barefoot because I never know in Florida. You never know what's going to be here. So I think something else that was also interesting on this particular article that you shared is the fact that it's not definitive as to which type of centipede is having. So some centipedes have eyes and some don't. So I don't know.
And what do you think would be the difference? Why would nature build one with and one without? What would be the difference between the need for eyes?
Well, because then the others without eyes must have their senses are stronger in some other ways, whether it's light.
And a lot of times they're like bats, and that now bats' eyes work just fine, but they live in a cave or they live in a very dark place. So eyes are superfluous, basically overkill.
Yeah, we had our show on bats 2 weeks ago. If anyone missed it, they can go over to any of our platforms and check it out.
Yeah. And they're wonderful, especially if you're in a place that has lots of bugs, mosquitoes specifically. I'm not a fan. I love bugs, but not mosquitoes. They seem to hunt me down no matter where I am. If there's one mosquito, they find me. So this is really where the balance comes. Remember, there is balance. We're not shooting anybody, and just because I have a gun, I can shoot 900 of them. No, animals don't do that. They do what they need to survive, and they're young to survive, and they don't consume more than that. And I'll tell you, mankind, womankind, all kinds of humans can really learn from nature.
Absolutely. And apparently there are some designers who are inspired by nature. Here's an article that is from last February in the New Edge Times report. And this is, I don't know what this is actually. We're going to read about it. Let's see. This is a garment known as the octopus dress that
Wow.
was created by Terrence Zhao. I guess that's how you say Terrence's name, hopefully. And that this dress was worn by the singer Lizzo last fall. So this is inspiration from an octopus. Do you see it?
Yeah, I don't see the octopus. Sorry. I get the ring part, but what I'm worried about is, goodness sakes, I hope that designer, which I assume that's him standing next to her, has 3 other buddies and helps her in and out of every chair and car and walking.
Looks like a lot of work. And so
That's a
somewhere
lot of
on here,
work.
there's some inspiration that Terrence has had about centipedes, but I don't see it. So anyway, there it is. Octopuses and centipedes. But
and it's been classic. If anybody is into designers and or if you dabble or don't, designers have been getting ideas from nature from the beginning. It's just always been. And when you look at this fabulous whatever this material is, just the flow of the idea. Now, I wouldn't want to walk around and you need a little help for that.
well, I'm trying to see if this is Lizzo in here. Where is Lizzo's ability to
her
see?
face, it would be almost in where we've kind of cut her off. It looks like
Maybe here. I don't know.
Yeah, because I was looking at that top piece as like a a neck piece that you put on, not a tie or a scarf, but something that they're at. So I would think that was her neck at the top and then the piece coming to her shoulders.
Yeah. Now, if her hand wasn't, and we're assuming that's her, we don't know, but if her hand wasn't there, I don't think we would have any idea. But I'm assuming that this part up here is supposed to be the head of the octopus, and then these are
the tentacles. Yeah. Yep.
And maybe it comes with an air conditioner. I don't know.
And God forbid a potty break. I don't know.
Can you imagine? Oh
yeah. How many people are going to have to go in the restroom with you? And I don't think the handicap bathroom is going to be big enough.
Wow, that you have to make a commitment to that. So that is interesting. You know, something else that I didn't read about centipedes. I don't know if it's partly true or not, but I remember seeing, I think it was Law and Order. I'm saying I think it was that, and some other show where roaches were actually considered to be jewelry. Yes. And so they had live roaches that they put stones on and then wore them as a pin or something. I don't really know how it was.
They felt that if we're talking about the Egyptian period and time, they felt that it was like a good charm. Just like the necklace you're wearing, imagine the same setup and it would be a cockroach.
No, I can.
They're dead, by the way.
Well, on this, I think it was Law and Order. The baddie in Law and Order was a thief, I think, and I don't remember.
And
but
doing
these
rare
were live
pieces and things like that.
Maybe. They were real. They were living roaches that had jewels on them.
Yep, I've heard of it. And then you get the ones that, they finally die because they don't live forever, and they put an epoxy around them and that type of stuff. And depending on which bug you got, value of the jewelry, and then who wore it. And I'm thinking, I like bugs better than most people, but I'm not wearing them. I don't care if you're dead or alive. There's where the creepy comes in for me. My luck is they're alive and I didn't know it, and they go walking down my shoulder and like, that, because it's going to happen, because us women will tell you every time we have a clothing malfunction, a hair malfunction, oh my God, who let me out of the house with that outfit?
Yes, how come no one said anything?
And I looked at the pictures later and went, no one stopped me, really? And those bugs just dropped dead. And I'm thinking, well, you got off fast and easy. That's just cheating.
That's right. That's right. I agree. I'd like to find out by looking it up if centipedes are considered a delicacy in any culture where they're actually humans eating them. I don't know. I'm going to take a peek over here and see.
I got the how to get rid of. I didn't go into is it a delicacy, but I would agree with you. I think you're definitely going to get that, because if you look at cockroaches specifically, They have actually, and I believe, I haven't read this up since my college years, of a totem, something that you would worship and or feel like you were closer to whatever god you in the Egyptian time you were worshiping, and the cockroach was a necklace. I've seen them, and they literally kind of let them die, so their whole body's all intact and all of their juices just dry up, and you'll see it in the tombs depending on the status of whose tomb you're looking at. But cockroaches played a huge part in the Egyptian community, as far as I know, in history.
We're going to have to do a whole segment on that. I'm going to have to get like a lot of sleep before that happens. But I wanted to share this. We talked about the centipede's eyes. So we know that centipedes can have no eyes. This is compound eyes. I mean, that is freaking me out. It looks like a fly, doesn't it?
And if you look at if everybody can see this picture really well, which it's great, there's little dots that make up this eye. So it's not
these are all,
yeah, they're all doing the same job, but that gives insects are highly sought after by many animals to eat. So they've got to have 24/7/2. They've got to be able to move their head. They got to move their legs. They got to move fast. And that many little pieces of an eye really gives them a great vision. Really great vision.
It's crazy. It looks like a fly, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we don't have enough picture to see it wings, but I would not put it past them that they don't have it. And some only have them for so many weeks or so many months. It just depends on the bug you're looking at.
Here's one with no eyes.
Yep. That would be probably just coming out of the dirt.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to just talk about that for a moment. If you think about soil, okay, I'm not a gardener, as you know, but soil has to be turned over, right? So how do centipedes or worms or other creatures living in the dirt, how do they facilitate the turning over of the soil?
And you touched on the most important part of why I keep encouraging people: don't kill them. Don't kill them. They're not hurting you. So if you think of just an earthworm, we probably are all very familiar with earthworms. They're brown, they're yellow, they're white. It doesn't matter. The whole point of their existence is to go through the soil, go through the soil, go through the soil. They kind of eat it, if you want to kind of use that. That bug looks like it would do the same thing. They're kind of doing it. The legs would push the soil away. They not only can live in these dirt lands, but what they're doing is just unreplaceable in the cycle of everybody's sources for food. They're mixing the soil. They're bringing. You've got rain coming down, so that's going to come in. But the soil itself, if you're in the middle to the bottom, it's well, nothing else happens. There's not leaves. There's not a ton of water coming. That's where the holes become essential. You've got to have. Have you ever composted leaves or had your neighbor do it? Anybody who's done any kind of composting, they know they can't just leave it there and let the heat and water, rain, whatever, cook it. They've got to turn it. And these insects play that essential part. I really want to send this on because I've had people that are new to gardening and they're like, oh, I got worms, I take them out. No. Invite them in because the worms create air pockets in the holes. They bring water down into the holes. The whole system, everybody's working together. But earthworms, very, very important to us all.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I thought I had a centipede, but now I think it's an earthworm. And I don't know what they eat, but I'm assuming it needs to get back outside. So I'll probably do what we'd suggest.
Well, earthworms are going to be eating a lot of the leaves that fall. So they can stay pretty close to the soil, go down, take a leaf with them. They're adding those minerals. They're adding that. So imagine we all are turning the soil over. You see farmers do it constantly. Well, these animals do it, these insects do it just because that's the way they're put together. So it's really, really vital. It brings the water down. It and I've actually said there are worms that take the dirt trash out. come back up top, say, nope, that one doesn't work. So don't be too quick to spray I'm going to use the brand name. I apologize, but the Raid, or what is the weed one?
Roundup.
Miracle Grow. What is it?
Oh, Roundup. No, Roundup.
Roundup. Yes, thank you. Miracle Grow's the good stuff. It is a what do I want to say? It's minerals, and it's got all kinds of food in it that you sprinkle down. So you really want to really go easy on the Raid. We all are terrified of spiders or bugs or rats. It doesn't really work for rats, but they would hate being sprayed with it anyway. The problem with this product is they've been sued a million times probably already, not even exaggerating, for people who've gotten cancer, people who have had reactions, all of these types of things. So it's a really efficient product, but we are all paying for the residual of overuse.
I think that is such a key point that you just made, because we've all done it. I mean, we want instant results. And so we can take a pill and this or that will be, whatever the symptoms are gone, but we didn't get to the root cause of whatever it is. And so I think also, if you have some type of insect infestation, what is the root cause? Where is it coming from? What can you do? How can they be relocated? Right. Because we've seen before, we haven't discussed this on the show about termites, but the communities that they build. And also you've talked many times about bees and how they're just trying to protect the queen, and they've got a system going. Boy, if we could get corporate America power in the bee system, that'd be America.
And just what you're saying has already taken place in military, the world of military. You see this, you see it. If you ever look at like red ants or any more I don't want to say aggressive, but they're very pushy. You will see where the military or the big CEO of a huge corporation or something has learned from the natural world and said, wait a minute, that bird, that's what has been so successful. Maybe not follow the one that's, the dinosaur that is extinct. But honestly, the dinosaur had nothing to do with the end of its life. They didn't overuse their resources. They didn't drink all the water. All the things that people do. We overuse our resources and then go, wait a minute, what happened to all the ice cream today? I'm sorry, you can't freeze it, can't do it, you don't have any milk. So think about insects in a different way, please. Spiders, all of them. They are really putting in the work that we have long since let go. Ask a farmer, and I mean a vegetable farmer, not a ranch with the cattle. They're knowing what's the soil, what's the pH, how much moisture, what nutrition is missing. Do I need to add this? Do I need to add this? Do I need this? I have, let me be candid, a lot of plants because I love the life. But every 6 months at the longest, I'm adding new soil because they're eating all the minerals and all the things and all the food if I'm doing that. And I'm asking them to bloom and have flowers and have great green leaves. Well, you can't do that without the proper food. And it's not just water. So remember that for yourself. If we all want to get somewhere from A to B, we probably should get your car fixed that's, sitting with smoke coming out the back, which all the governments now regulate. Why? Because we're literally killing the earth with all of this spice.
I have a comment for that, which is, I remember I was going to participate in a charity event. And I got to the venue early. I was in a parking garage and I was just sitting there with my car running and I was doing whatever. And somebody knocked on my window and this woman said, do you realize you're polluting the environment by letting your engine run? And I thought, oh my gosh. And you know what? Now I'm really conscious of that. I don't even though it's 85 degrees, if I'm in a parking lot, I'll leave the door open instead of leave the car running. But it's interesting how many people are leaving the car running. I'm very attuned to it now because that person came up and said something. And I'm glad they did because I wasn't aware of what I was doing.
And you and I, that's our normal part. if we're obtuse to something, maybe we just don't know because we've never been in that arena. I don't know about you. If somebody told me, I don't know, don't get on a trapeze, you could fall off and kill yourself. I said, well, I saw that and it looked really dangerous, but that was obvious. But then you've got people who make their living at being trapeze artists. Guess how much research they did? I am sure all the surgeries I've had, which sadly are a lot, none of my doctors came there and said, oh, let's try this on her because, I haven't tried that yet. I'm thinking, yeah, let's not do that. No. And I don't know you, but I've had surgeries where I've been awake because they needed me to do some kind of movement and not artificial movement where they just move my leg. So remember that. There's always another way. Better? I don't know. Might be. Give it a try.
Yeah, be open. Be open. I think that's
there. You go. Be open.
That's what really.
If anybody has an idea for clogged drains, that's the only chemical we're still using, and it's just like, okay, I don't have a lot of hair, but eventually the shower gets full. It doesn't matter the netting we put in.
I just had to have the plumber come out because I tried every possible thing you can think of. Yep. And eventually then the tub starts getting backed up and it turns out it was hair. And I said, I don't even have.
Yeah, that's what me too. It's like, how much hair to this?
Yeah. And it used to be when I was younger, I would wash my hair every day. Now that I'm older, I don't wash I mean, I'm not going to say how often because I don't want people to be alarmed. But you don't need to wash your hair as much as, when you get older. And I'm teaching fitness classes. So I'm very conscious because I don't want the sink to get backed up. It's very like, how does the sink get backed up with hair? I mean, I don't know. I can't figure that one out. But anyway, at some point.
For me, I always look because I don't have, my hair is really thin. It always has been. I am my dad's child. He was nearly bald. So it's like, I've got more hair than him. But it's all that hair falling off. It's just a natural sloughing that we see, on your shoulder or whatever. Sometimes it's more if we're scrubbing harder. I don't have much hair. No, me and the shampoo people, man, I go to Costco. I'm good for 5 years.
You won't be seeing her again for a while.
Not for shampoo, but those are the things you can check and look into. And it's the same thing I talk to pet owners about. If your cat is shedding, well, great, but that's not a thing cats most times do. Sure, we all lose our hair. That's just the way it is. If you have a lot of thick hair or whatever, well, you're going to have to be cleaning that up or your vacuum's going to be full. My children, my 2 girls had long hair. They loved having long hair. You know how many times I had to open the vacuum and get it off the brush? Yeah. And I literally went and got a little steak knife and cut it off because I couldn't get ahead of it. Didn't matter how many times girls brush your hair, put it in the trash, and out of the brush. They were kids. Yeah. And I had
that's one thing that always upsets me when I have to clean out my hairbrush. And
right.
No, not there. But anyway, we're coming to the end of another fabulous episode. And I can think of 10 topics just from what we talked about today for the next shows. So AMINAH, how can people reach you and who would you like to reach out?
If you have any issues, behaviors, a pet that's sick or dying, I'm not going to cover the vet stuff, but I can tell you go to the vet or not. I have clients that check in with me all the time and say, hey, is this something I really need to see the vet? And it's yes, no. We'll have that talk. I'm really blessed with being able to feel what your pets are feeling, especially if you talk to them and they're used to having that conversation with your people. Pets are great when they are spoken to in English, French, German. It doesn't matter. It's your language. And that's what it is. Sign language works beautiful with animals also. I've seen many, many children with service animals, and that is part of it. I'm the one you come to when you haven't figured out what the problem is. And maybe you've already been to the vet and maybe you've tried all the vitamins. I am not a miracle worker, but at least I can talk to your pets. And I've been blessed to do that since I was a real small child. So please call me if you have any questions.
And for our friends who are listening on an audio platform only, you can go to AMINAH's website, which is Bridging Worlds, 2 words together, bridgingworlds.us. You can also find AMINAH on LinkedIn as well as Facebook, Bridging Worlds. Thank you so much, my dear friend, for being here. I hope you have a beautiful weekend.
Absolutely. You also, and everybody, be kind to yourself and hug a pet today.
Fantastic. I'll see you next Friday. Bye for
Absolutely.
now. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Just a quick announcement before we close out. We have a new show starting tonight, which is the Be Fit Project with myself and Coach B. And if you don't know Coach B, please do tune in. Coach B is a master sergeant. His name is Brandon Eckel. He's a world champion athlete, a holistic health coach, an entrepreneur, a speaker, and an author. He's a 23-year, highly decorated special ops veteran and the only Air Force member in the world on the national endurance team. So this is going to be a super special program. We are actually going to be working together to give away money. That's right, money, cash, moolah for people who are interested in getting fit. So do join us tonight at 7 p.m. We're signing off for now. Thank you so much to you for watching, for listening. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. We really do appreciate you. Let's take a look at some of our sponsorships, and we'll see you again on Monday. Bye for now.
Women of the Caribbean and around the world, are you tired of the status quo? Tired of barely making ends meet? Tired of giving maximum effort for minimum results? Are you in need of change, a fresh start, a new outlook, a new perspective? It's time to break through. Join us along with women from around the world at the Empower Her Escape, a 5-day all-inclusive royal cruise to the Bahamas and Florida. Connect with world leaders and influencers and begin afresh your journey to more. Hear dynamic speakers with sessions on women in leadership, the importance of mentorship, how to start a business from the ground up, financial literacy, an integrated approach to wellness and wholeness, and so much more. Guest speakers include First Lady Anne-Marie Davis of the Bahamas, Her Royal Highness Katerina of Yugoslavia Lady de Silva, Her Royal Highness Queen Sekothali Mepena of South Africa, and Coach Max, Global Multi-Six-Figure Wealth Coach. Cruise packages include 2 nights at an all-exclusive resort, gratuities, taxes, and port fees, red carpet welcome and extravaganza, course materials, and a souvenir gift bag, flight not included. The Empower Her Escape Cruise takes place on May 15th through the 19th, 2024, departing from the port of Palm Beach, Riviera Beach, Florida. Hosts for this life-changing event are Coach Cherish Hollingsworth of Florida and Coach Mercy Gilbert of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.empowerherroyalescape.com or call us at 954-203-6608 or email us at cherishresiliencecoach@gmail.com. Connect, collaborate, celebrate at the Empower Her Escape Cruise.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.